Hello, viewers. Welcome to part 3 of Mr. Eccentric, written by Satyajit Ray. It was 9 o'clock in the evening. I had just had my dinner, put a pan in my mouth, and was toying with the idea of going to bed with a detective novel when a bearer came and told me that someone was looking for me. I came out of my room and was not surprised to find Mr. Eccentric waiting for me. What was he doing in my hotel at 9 o'clock? He still looked a little dazed. Is there anywhere we can sit and talk privately? He asked. I would not mind talking to you outside, but it's raining again. I invited him into my room. He sat down, sighed with relief, and said, Could you feel my pulse, please? I took his hand and gave a start. He was running a fairly high temperature. I have got aniline with me. Would you like one? I said, concerned. The man smiled. No tablet is going to work now. This fever won't go down before tomorrow morning. Then I will be all right. But I am not worried about my temperature. I have not come to you looking for medical treatment. What I need is that ring. Ring? What ring? The perplexed look on my face seemed to irritate Mr. Eccentric. That man, Lashkar or Tuskar, whatever his name is, he said a little impatiently, Didn't you see his ring? It's an ordinary, cheap old ring, not set with stones or anything, but I want it. Now I remembered. Yes, Nashkar did wear a silver ring on his right hand. Mr. Eccentric was still speaking when I shook his hand. I could feel that ring brush against my palm. Immediately, I felt as if my whole body would explode. Then the same old thing happened. I went into a trance and began watching the scenes that rose before my eyes. But before the whole thing could finish, a jeep came from the opposite end and ruined everything. So you didn't see the whole episode? No. But what little I did see was bad enough, let me tell you. It was a murder. I did not see the murderer's face. I only saw his hand, moving forward to grasp his victim's neck. On his hand was that ring. The victim was wearing a Rajasthani cap and glasses with gold frame. His eyes were bulging. He had just opened his mouth to scream. One of his lower teeth had a gold filling. That's all I saw. I have got to have that ring. I stared at Mr. Eccentric for a few seconds. Then I said, Look, Mr. Mukherjee, if you want that ring, why don't you ask Mr. Nashkar yourself? I don't know him all that well. Besides, I don't think he views your hobby with any sympathy. In that case, what good would it do if I ask him? It might be better if you... Very sorry, Mr. Mukherjee, I interrupted him, speaking plainly. It would not work even if I went and asked him. Some people are very attached to some of their possessions. Nashkar may not wish to part with that ring. If it was something he was not actually using every day, he might have. I broke off. Mr. Eccentric did not waste another second. He shied, got to his feet and left, disappearing into the dark, damp night. His demand was really weird. I thought to myself, it was one thing to pick up objects from the roadside, but to ask for something someone else was using just to add one more item to his collection was certainly wrong. No one could have helped him in this respect. Besides, Nashkar did not appear to be a man with any imagination. It was stupid to expect him to understand and just give away his ring. The next morning, seeing that the clouds had dispersed and day was bright, I left for a walk after a cup of tea. My aim was to go to Birch Hill. The mall was full of people. I had to walk carefully to avoid colliding with people on horseback and others walking on foot like me. A few minutes later, I found myself in the relatively quiet road to the west of Observatory Hill. Mr. Eccentric's sad face kept coming back to me. If I ran into Nashkar by chance, perhaps I would speak to him about that ring. It might not mean a great deal to him. He might not mind giving it to me. I could well imagine the look on Mr. Eccentric's face if I handed that ring over to him. When I was a child, I used to collect stamps, so I knew something about a collector's passion. Sometimes one's passion could turn into an obsession. Besides, Mr. Eccentric did not meddle with anyone. He was happy living alone with his crazy hobby. He was not trying to harm anyone else, and this was probably the first time that he was coveting someone else's possession, although it was nothing valuable. To tell the truth, I had come to the conclusion the previous night that Mr. Eccentric had no supernatural powers at all. His collection was based simply on his peculiar imagination. But if that brought him joy and contentment, why should anyone else object? I spent almost 2 hours walking near Birch Hill, but did not see Nashkar. On my return through the mall, I had to pick my way through the crowd once again. However, this time, many people in the crowd appeared agitated about something. Knots of people were scattered here and there, discussing something excitedly. As I got closer, I heard the words police, investigation, and murder. I spotted an old gentleman in the crowd and decided to ask him what had happened. Oh, they say a suspected criminal fled from Calcutta and came here. The police followed his trail and are looking for him everywhere, the man told me. Do you know his name? I could not tell you his real name. I believe he calls himself Nashkar. My heart jumped into my mouth. There was only one person who could give me more information, Dr. Bhomik. As it happened, I did not have to go to his house. I ran into him and Khasgi near a rickshaw stand. Just imagine, Dr. Bhomik exclaimed. Only yesterday the fellow came to my house and had tea. He had come to me some time ago complaining of a pain in his stomach. Said he was new to the city, so I treated him and thought I would introduce him to some other people. That was only yesterday, for heaven's sake. And now this? Has he been arrested? I asked anxiously. No, not yet. The police are looking for him. He is still in Darjeeling, so they will find him sooner or later. Never fear. Dr. Bhomik left with Kastagir. My pulse started racing faster. It wasn't just that Nashkar had turned out to be a criminal. That was amazing enough. But what about Mr. Eccentric? He did say that ring worn by a murderer. Could it really be that he had some supernatural power after all? I had to go and see him. Had he heard the news about Nashkar? I must find out. When I knocked on the door of the house, number 17, no one opened it. I tried again with the same result. I could not really afford to wait outside, for the sky had become overcast again. So I left and walked briskly back to my hotel. Within half an hour, it began raining very heavily. The bright sunny morning had become a thing of the past. Where was Nashkar hiding? Who had he killed? How had he killed? At 3:30, the manager of my hotel, Mr. Sondi, gave me the news. The police had found the house where Nashkar was staying. Right behind it was a deep gorge. In that gorge, Nashkar's dead body had been discovered. His head was crushed. Various theories were being put forward, including suicide, momentary insanity, and falling to his death while trying to escape. Apparently, there had been some disagreement with his business partner. Nashkar had murdered him, hid his body, and run away to Darjeeling. The police had eventually found the body in Calcutta and began looking for Nashkar. Now I absolutely had to see Mr. Eccentric. I could no longer dismiss his words. Events in Switzerland and Voltaire might have been made up. He might have heard about Bradley's death in Darjeeling. But how did he know that Nashkar was a murderer? Around 5 o'clock, the heavy rain settled into a drizzle. I left my hotel and went to Mr. Eccentric's house again. This time the door opened immediately. Mr. Eccentric greeted me with a smile and said, "Come in, my friend, come in. I was thinking of you." I stepped in. It was almost dark. A single candle flickered on the table. "There's no electricity," Mr. Eccentric explained with a wan smile. "They haven't yet reconnected the supply." I took a cane chair, sat down, and said, "Have you heard?" "About your Tusker? I don't need to hear anything. I already know the whole story. But I am grateful to him." "Grateful?" I felt almost taken aback. He has given me the most important item in my collection. Given you? My throat suddenly felt dry. There it is on that table. Look. I glanced at the table again. Next to the candle was the notebook, and placed on an open page was Mr. Nashkar's ring. I was recording all the details. Item number 173, Mr. Eccentric said. A question kept bothering me. What do you mean? He gave it to you? When did he do that? Well, naturally, he did not give it to me voluntarily. I had to use force, Mr. Eccentric sighed. This rendered me completely speechless. In the silence that followed, all I could hear was the clock ticking. I am glad you are here. I want to give you something. Keep it with you. Mr. Eccentric rose and disappeared into a dark corner. I heard a faint clatter and then his voice. This object is certainly worth keeping in my collection, but I cannot bear its effect on me. My temperature keeps shooting higher, and a most unpleasant scene rises before my eyes. He emerged from the dark and stood near the candle once more. His right hand was stretched towards me. His fingers were curled around the old familiar heavy walking stick. Even in the faint light from the candle, I could tell that the red stains that covered the handle of that stick were nothing but marks left by dried blood. Viewers, hope you loved Mr. Eccentric. As always, Satyajit Ray's stories, we just fall in love with his stories, with the ending of his stories. The way he involves the reader, keeps one engaged into the story till the end, is really something notable. I have previously also read out a few of Ray's stories on this particular channel of mine. Just in case you love this story, will love to see people subscribing to my channel, liking this particular video, and keeping themselves abreast of the recent uploads that are happening on this channel. Thank you.